Hello everyone, welcome to Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque, painting live on Thursday, June 17th at 7 p.m. Central Time. And we are working on our May box, which was called A Fungus Among Us, and it was Boris, our gnome, and then our mushroom, and hopefully we will finish them up tonight. And this is our little finished guy, so we'll put that aside. And we are on our Boris guy. And then I didn't color wash or antique my mushroom when I antiqued our little Boris guy here. So I'm actually going to do that quick online so that can dry while we finish painting up Boris. And since I'm not going to mix up a whole batch of antiquing solution or color wash, I'm show you how I do it when I have just one little piece to do. So I used our black brown, make sure that's what we used. Yes, black brown, which is OS 473. So this is what you can do if you just have one little piece to do and don't have a mixture in a container. Usually I have the mixture in the container at the classroom. And then I have a sponge and I have a piece of cotton toweling. So this is antiquing. And so this piece has been base coated with ivory. And now I'm going to take my black brown that I have in my foil, or if you want to mix up a batch of it, you can mix up a batch of it too. But then I just take my brush and dip it in the water and add the water right on my foil here, and then kind of mix it up, kind of make my puddle right on there, just because it's one piece and it works that way. Then I just brush that on. And I do about a 3x3 area. And then I will take my sponge and wring that out in the water. And now I'm going to wipe on my ivory. And I actually just did the ivory too, so it's not real dry either. Again, I'm going to dip into my water, go into my black brown, paint that thinned out paint onto my piece. Antiquing solutions used to be available easily from all the paint companies, but they've become less and less available. So this is kind of how you can do your own antiquing, just by using your color wash basically, or mixing your whatever antiquing color you want with 50% paint and 50% water. So now I'm going to wring that out again, and then just wipe real gently, leaving the black brown down in the crevices, doing the bottom, wiping the bottom. And you can wipe off or leave on as much as you want. And then I do like to go back with my little cotton t-shirt and strip that over my index finger. And I do have that damp as well. And then I can kind of just wipe it a little bit more evenly, real lightly. I go across my crevices, so I'm leaving the black brown down in the crevices instead of wiping it out. If you go with your crevices, you'll wipe it out. So this little area is kind of light, so I'm just going to put my black brown back on there and re-wipe it. And now I can stick my finger up inside it, dip my brush in the water, and get a little bit of water into my paint. And then just paint the top of my brushed mushroom, which is about a 4x4 area instead of the 3x3. But it's just a quick little, smooth, little easy area to do it, so I'll just do the whole thing. And I need just a little more of my black brown, so I'll just get another little puddle of it. Not much. Dip my brush into my water, thin that out again, and then brush it on. And you want to make sure you don't have any ivory spots showing through any little crevices and around your edge. Again, I'll wring out my sponge, make it nice and damp, and I'll just wipe across my little dots here, the little polka dot on the mushroom. And then I like to take my cotton cloth that's damp and then just wipe that just a little bit more. And that just gets it a little more even. And then it's letting the black brown down in the crevices around the little circles on here. And if you take too much off, you can just go back and put it back on again. And I can just show you that. It doesn't hurt it at all. So you can just brush it back on. Use up what we got there just to show you. You can brush it back on. Take your little damp cloth. And then wipe real gently. And then the paint will kind of build up in that cloth, and if you wipe too much, you can use the cloth as well to put color back on because it's kind of built back up in the cloth. So he's looking pretty even, so now we'll just set that aside and let him dry while we're finishing up our mushrooms. I'll wash out my brush. Put that aside. So you can see so I used up my little puddle. I didn't really waste any paint. I don't have excess instead of making a whole batch of it, so I'm kind of done with that. So then we are actually on, we did his beard last week. We did our white on our beard. And then our next color is we're actually going to touch up his little skin color too. We had done some touch-ups last week. I'm just reading our instructions here quick. So we're going to touch up his hair. I'm going to see where that's at on our, or his face, I'm sorry, on our instructions. And paint our eyes, because we did kind of switch that around a little bit. So we'll use our light brown. Make sure that's the color I used on his face. See, I'm just reading here. Light brown, so I'm just going to use our light brown, which is OS 467. And then I want my paper towel. And I want a smaller dry brush because we have his little face. We don't have a big area to do. So I have a number 3 flat boar bristle dry brush. So that's what you use for your dry brushing. You use the nylon or the gold talcum or the sable, natural sable for your painting. So I just grabbed my light brown and I brushed back and forth on my paper towel. And now I want to touch up his face here a little bit from our antiquing and bring his color a little bit brighter so he's not so dull looking. So we're just brushing back and forth, grabbing our light brown. So he's kind of splotchy from the antiquing, so we want to dry brush over that and get a nice even look to his, to his skin color here. And we will do his hands too. And you just do one layer and then you move on to the next skin area and let that previous area dry. And you just keep going back and forth until you get it built up. And so now we're doing his other arm. Or his hand, I should say. It's not really a whole arm. And then we can go back to his, we got to get his ears as well. So you don't want a really big brush. About a size 3 is a good size, so you're not getting the light brown all over what you already finished. And we'll get his other little ear over here. I'm using light brown, a size 3 flat. A round would also work. And I'm just dry brushing the skin areas with light brown. Nope, tablet's been at the classroom. Huh? Maybe just shut it off and restart it. It was charged the way it looked. Oh. So I can't see you guys' questions yet because Courtney's working on my tablet. I had forgotten it at the classroom. Even though I was out there, I forgot to take it back home with me, and so it's been sitting for 2 days. So I'm just using my light brown, brushing it out, doing all those little skin areas just to get them nice and even. And back to his face here. Just kind of bring that natural light brown color back after we antiqued. And dry brush the beard and got white on his face here a little bit. So I hope everyone had a great week. We're back into the heat here again. This guy's shedding a few hairs. We do have the greenware for our July box to show you guys at the once we're done here with this guy tonight and the mushroom. So we'll show you that, and then hopefully we get done early enough that we can actually start our June box, and open that, do that opening of the June box. So if you're new, you can see how the boxes come and what comes in them and all that good stuff, because we've had quite a few new people here this week again. So I'm just dry brushing his little face and getting a nice even coat of the light brown on there. Leaving the black brown down in the crevices. That was our antiquing. Originally I had painted the eyes first, but I decided that I liked them painted afterwards and didn't paint them first. So it's kind of up to you which way you want to do it. I kind of dulled them too much with the antiquing for my preference. So a lot of the painting is kind of your preference of what you do too. So we're just getting our light brown and getting his nice skin color back here. Touching up his little fingers here where we got beard color on it. And now he's got a nice even skin color because we had that big dark brown patch right there, so you can see that's gone now. So that's looking pretty good. Let's see. We did, so it's number 7. I have to dry brush Ivory with the mushroom, but we're going to wait with that because I just antiqued that. So we are going to go to number 8 and dry brush his hat with orange peel. So where's my orange peel? That's hot orange. So I have orange peel, OS438, orange peel, OS438, and we'll give that a good shake. And we'll get a little pile of that. I'm not going to use my brown brush because I'll probably use that on our mushroom. And it's a bigger area, so I'm going to just use a bigger brush here. Let's see, I have a size 8. You could have a little bit smaller if you wanted, but actually that's kind of big. Let's see. Well, this is an 8 round. We'll go with that. It's kind of worn, so I'll just use my 8 round. Grab that paint, brush it out on my paper towel, and now you can see it's kind of dulled from our antiquing when you compare it to the other one. So the finished one, we're just gonna bring back our orange peel. So now that was too much on there because I didn't brush it out enough. So we'll have to brush that and even that out. So I'm basically just going to dry brush his whole little hat with orange peel. Get it nice and bright again, just leaving the black brown down in the crevices around the hair and around the pumpkin, oh my goodness, around the mushroom. We got pumpkins on our brain. Yeah, I am tired. So we're brushing out our orange peel.
Yes, we were kind of thinking about pumpkins.
Yeah, we've been thinking about pumpkins and Halloween and fall, and I poured what's going to be, let's see, I gotta think here, the September box. We had a set of those molds, although we're waiting for the new ones, but I did have another set just so I could get the samples done, so I did pull those and pour those, so those are pumpkins and things, so.
I picked those out.
Huh?
I picked those out.
You picked those
Yeah.
sweet tots out?
Yes, I did. You didn't like them.
Well, I thought Mary picked them out. Yeah, I thought they were smaller than they are, but they're not. So, so September is sweet tot pumpkins, girls or boys or sweet tots.
That's like a Halloween.
It's a Halloween scene kind of thing, so we'll be debuting that once I get those, once we get past August, and I'm trying to get ahead, so that's why they're already poured, since we did have we had one set of molds, but we do have new orders, order in for the new one. Just part of our order came from Evans and Starlight Molds this week, so we're still waiting. We're on the list yet to get the rest of it, and then that'll be I gotta think, our September molds. Just the September ones, right? Because we already got the July ones.
You got August.
August will be Mako molds. October will be Mako molds. And then we have to figure out what November and December are yet. So I'm just dry brushing his hat here because we can see this brown from our antiquing through there. So we want to get that nice and even again. So I have had a few messages with concerns about how it looked after it's antiqued, because it does look kind of ugly once it's antiqued. But once you go back and dry brush over it here, you can see that it brings a lot of the color back out. So that's what we're doing here tonight. I'm just working it around his little hat from one side to the next, and then back to the front, and kind of along the edge here. And you can see it slowly starting to look better, kind of getting rid of covering up the antiquing, but leaving the antiquing down in the crevices, basically around the hair and the ears and the face and the crevice on the hat, because that is our shadowing now. That's on our piece instead of the base coating of the black and the dry brushing. So we'll keep going around and around and building up our color till it looks good. And Courtney looks like she's got my tablet going here finally. Looks like it's really far behind though. So we'll just build that up and make it look nice and pretty. And I just keep working my way around from the front to the back, or front to the side, and then to the back. So they do kind of look ugly before they look pretty, but they ended up pretty if you just keep going with your dry brushing after you antiqued them. It just takes a little patience and time. You can see it's starting to come around here.
We'll have a brush order coming in before the next box.
Courtney says she'll have a brush order coming in before the next box ships, because actually one of the extra in your box is going to be a brush. So we have to get those ordered. I'm guessing we'll have to order paint again, if they have paint, because that's kind of been a problem. Raw materials are just a problem out there yet. Shipping is a problem, getting stuff shipped. There's a shortage of truckers and shortage of pallets because of the wood, and just one little issue after another. So we're trying to get ahead with our molds as much as we can. So we're actually covered now through October, and then November and December is next. So that'll be our next investment, I guess. So Courtney just looked, she said that the paint colors still haven't come in. I'm guessing it's a raw material problem. There's not much they can do about it. Which is going to be kind of hard, because that next box, when we show you the greenware, it's snowman ornaments, and there's 6 of them, so there's actually going to be a lot of colors in that box. Unless we stick to a all blue theme or all purple theme, or...
She doesn't have, like, charcoal still not, medium blue still out. Basically all the colors I'm needing she doesn't have.
Do they have silver and gold and copper?
Copper was discontinued.
Oh, that's right. So I'm just working my way around with our orange peel, getting that looking nice and pretty here, nice and even colored. You can see the darker colors down in the crevice yet. silver and gold for sure.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah, until we order. So we might have to limit the colors on what we paint those guys then, I guess. Okay, so we got that done. So let's see, what do we got next? We already did his shirt last time. And now we're going to repaint the eyes. So I'm going to get our black. So I have our OS 476 black. I'm not sure how well the brush order is going to go in. I don't know if they're having shortage problems too or not. We haven't talked to them in a little bit, so let's see. Looking for my little liner brush here. Courtney kind of confiscated stuff on me. Alrighty, which one do I want to use? I guess I will use my monogram liner, which is a Royal brush, Royal Mini Majestic with the short handle. It's a 20-0, so it's got a nice little point on it. And I'm going to go into my black. And I like to draw my brush through the black and then kind of roll it into a turn, like a quarter of a turn, and then that kind of puts that point on there, so you have a nice point on your brush. And now I will paint in his black, but I also have a cut on my index finger here, so I'm not sure how well that's going to go tonight, but we'll give it a try. I'm actually just going to paint the whole eye in with black. Most of the time I only do the bottom half, but we'll just go ahead and do the whole thing tonight. Just to show you there's always more than one way to do anything. So this is a 20-0 liner. It's a short handle. The ladies at the shop really liked it. I think Courtney tried ordering these last time and we only got 3 or 4 of them. And he still don't have them. So I guess they have supply chain issues too.
They need to be made at the warehouse.
So we'll have to see when she talks to them what we can get. I'm just painting in his eye with the black. I just didn't like how it looked after it was antiqued. It kind of took all the brightness out of the colors. And I did not want to have to paint over already done eyes. So that's why I went ahead and waited with it. So it's been really hot here again. I don't know if we reached 90 or not today, but I'm guessing we were supposed to, so I'm guessing we probably did. I'm just filling in his black on his eye, brushing it out so it's nice and smooth. See, I've been pouring in the garage if you guys have been watching the pictures instead of in the dining room, so that's pretty nice. I'm down to just 4 molds left in the dining room, and they're just there because they're bigger ones, and I didn't carry them out yet because I'm not ready to pour them yet. So I'm going to wash out my brush now. And we need that black to dry, so while that's drying, let's see, we're going to paint his fingernails ivory. So I did wash out my liner brush, so we're going to go to OS 432 Ivory and get just a little drop of that, and while our black is drying, we'll paint our ivory. Now I have enough ivory for the mushroom too, the way it looks. So it's been really nice to pour in the garage because there's just more room than in the little dining room and living room. Molds are on the shelf after they're done on the pouring table, and greenware is going on a shelf. Am I out of view or what? It's a little much paint in my brush, so I wiped it off. We're just painting his fingernails ivory, just to give them a little definition. Let's see, I was down to just 2 batches of making slip making stuff, and our clay came when our molds came, so that was good. So now I'm back at full force pouring. So I've been pouring for the classroom. Started the July box today because we got those molds and I left them. They were actually really dry already, but I did kind of let them sunbathe a little bit yesterday and turned them a few times and put a piece of hair in there. So I did pour them for the first time last night, and then I'll pour them again tonight when I get home. A friend of ours, Janelle, did some mold digging down by Chicago and brought us 7 dragon molds today. So we now have some dragons. And then they're like 10 to 12 inches.
Anything that I would want to ship.
Cordy asked if there anything she'd want to ship. Well, they have tails and skinny heads, so I'm thinking you're not going to want to ship them, but they're like 8 to 10 inches. They're nothing huge. They're all Doc Holiday, which is nice. I also got the Atlantic Mr. and Mrs. Santa she found for us, the 12-inch set. I'm actually going to pour all that stuff tomorrow to get it at the classroom because I have some 4-Hers coming, and usually the kids like the dragons, so we'll get those dragons poured right away tomorrow, as well as the Mr. and Mrs. Santa. So we got our ivory on our nails. Let's see what else we do while our black is drying. We're not going to do our azalea on our cheeks yet. We're going to let that. We'll touch up his white on his little hair, his little eyebrows while that black's drying. It's really humid, so stuff's not drying very well. OS 431 white. And we'll just touch up his eyebrows from doing the hat. And we'll go get us a little brush. I have a zero liner, or not a zero liner, a zero flat dry brush. Grab a little white, and then just kind of dry brush on his little eyebrows where the orange got on there. And then for Janelle actually going mold digging and bringing the molds all the way from Chicago, we gave her a greenware alligator that she's been looking for. We sent her home with, so that was a big thank you for her and her time. And
I think I had you show them.
Yep, it was a 27-inch alligator. Right now, he don't fit in my kiln. Once we have our new kiln new to us kiln that we got in January out into the garage and hooked up, then I'll be able to fire him. So then we'll have him at the classroom too.
Will he fit in there flat?
He will fit in the January kiln flat, yes. It's 27 inches wide and he's 27 inches wide. So, but it'll shrink a little bit when he's drying, so that'll be enough to make him fit. So we got his little eyebrows all touched back up. And now our black is just about dry. What? So from our black, I will go to our white. And I'm actually going to dip my brush in the water and add just a little bit of water to my white so that it flows really well off the brush when I'm doing his eyes. And again, I'm going to draw my brush through that white and do that turn and load that into there. The liner brushes are good for that. That way they hold the paint. So I start at probably 9:30 and I'm going to draw down towards me, leaving just a little bit of black as like his outline of his eye. And then come over at about 2:30 on the other side. I start inside the eye and move out to the outline. That way I can see right where my black or my white is going and how much black is left. And just kind of work my way around that eye. And join up the two sides and then fill in that bottom half. I don't worry about how ugly the top half of that eye is where the white is, because our iris color is going to cover that up. So there are different people have different ways of doing eyes. This is just the way I find that it works well for me. So all I concentrate on is how much black is being left on the outside of that eye. I don't want it too wide or gone completely, so that's where I just try to get the right amount of black. So now I kind of get too much white there. I'll have to go back and touch that up probably. But my little sore finger is not helping here. And then I'll fill that in. So I had to take the pumps off the mixing pumps off the pouring tables last week to get them out of the house, and I think I cut my finger on the threads on the bolts. And it's kind of gotten wider as the week has gone by, so it's a little bit tender.
Liquid nails.
Yeah, I need some liquid nails or something, because it keeps splitting open wider. So now when I look at this guy, the white's all jacked up, so I'm actually going to go back and touch up my black. I got to let our white dry. And then you can have any colored eyes you want, but I used medium blue, so I'm going to we'll do our other eye while that eye is drying. OS 457, medium blue, OS 457, medium blue. And we'll get just a little pile of that because we don't need much. Again, I dip my brush in the water, so I kind of add a drop of water to my pile, stir that up. It just helps that paint flow off of your brush better. And then I draw my brush through my blue, turning it so I get a nice point on it, and then loading that color up into the brush. And now I'll go from about 10 o'clock and kind of let a little, I might have a little stray hair on this guy that might get himself cut off if he keeps getting in my way. We'll do a little wedge of a corner. And then come up to the other side, fill in the top half. Again, come to the other side, maybe at about 1 o'clock inside the eye, work out to the edge so you can see how much black you're leaving. And then join up to 2 and then kind of fill it in a little bit. Rinse out my brush so I can go back and touch up the black on this guy. I'm just going to come around the outside and I got too much water. And I think I'm going to take the, you have a scissors? Because there's a little stray guy on here and I'm cutting him off. So there's a little stray hair in this one and he just keeps getting in the way, so we're going to cut it off. Thank you. So go back into my black here. And just try to put that little liner around his eye, kind of straighten out that black. A lot of times I'll just go back and paint the whole eye black again and just completely start over. I like to draw the brush towards me instead of pulling it away from me. And we'll probably have to touch the white up too here. Wash our brush out. Go back to our white. Hopefully it dries here quick. Like I said, it's really been humid here. And now we can touch our white up again. So see, I think everyone's got their boxes mailed, right, Courtney? We haven't talked about that at all.
I've been shipping June boxes for people that have been
their new purchases though, right? They're so so all the subscribers are all shipped, right?
Everybody should be.
Everybody.
I'm chipping away at orders.
So Cordy's got all the June boxes shipped unless you bought in the last day or two, because we have had a few purchases in the last day or two for new people. And then she's working away at orders if you had orders for things. I think I'm close to caught up, not completely caught up, but close. I think I haven't had my tablet to check this last 2 days, but I think in general a lot of your stuff's all been poured and brought to Courtney, so just waiting for this eyeball to dry here. I guess while that's drying, I can touch up the ivory on my mushroom there from doing the hat. I think all of our local orders are pretty much caught up too, unless you just gave me one in the last week. We have a whole shelf with 4 shelves full of stuff. So if you had ordered stuff, it would be good if you could come in and get them so we can have room for the next ones. We're still open Saturday and Tuesday at this time. With summer, a lot of places closed, but we're still open. We may have a change in hours for August. We haven't quite decided what we're going to do yet. We need to do a few.
If it starts getting too hot. So it could even be July if it gets too hot.
Cordy says if it gets too hot. We did get a window air conditioner, portable air not a window one, a portable air conditioner for the classroom to help cool that off, but it is an old farmhouse, and we'll have to see how it goes. I'm just touching up his eyes, kind of having the blue start and end at, so it's starting over here at 9 o'clock and ending over here at 3. And I want it to start on the other eye at 9 o'clock and end at 3 as well. So I'm just looking at them to make sure they're kind of even. And they look pretty good, so I can wash out my brush. Now I can go back to my black. And now we can do the same little eclipse or little pie-shaped thing on with the black, leaving the blue. Not too much water in there. So if you have too much water in your brush and squeeze it out, I can take my paper towel and dip it in there. So now I need to dry my brush a little better. We can do this again. So again, I start in my black and work over to the outside edge where I want my blue to start. And again, go to the other side, start into the black and move out to my black and then towards my blue, so I have a nice little pie-shaped corner on each side, and then join them up. So now he's got nice little irises, I guess you could call them, or the pupil center part. This one's not quite dry. I'm trying to work on some classes for the classroom, pouring stuff, and no, it's not dry, we gotta wait. All right.
Do you want to show them the July pieces while you're waiting?
So Cordy says, do I want to show you the July pieces while we're waiting? I guess we could do that. Well, we can go with the June pieces first. So this was the June box while his eye is drying there. So this is the June box that we just shipped. We have our snail and our turtle that we did a bunch of dotting that has swirls in it. So hopefully we'll get to that box, at least get it opened tonight. So that's your turtle and your snail. And then some people added our worm and the praying mantis. And then we have a frog too. And I've still been pouring these guys, so we'll have more of those available too. So that's our frog. Then Cordy's got our, he's dry enough now, we can go back to our eyeball here. So I'm going to go back to my black. Kind of do my same wedge-shaped blue eye part. So you'll find you'll have different little problems when it's so humid in the summer. One of our ladies had trouble with her aerosol sealer. It looked very white when it was sealed. look very milky looking, and that humidity can do that. So you might want to save sealing your pieces to not such a humid day. So now I'm going to look at my black, and I want them to kind of start and stop on the same area as both. So this blue is up a little bit, so I'm just going to bring my black down a little bit more, just so they look kind of even. So that's better. So I'm going to wash out my brush, make sure I pat it dry here good. And I'm going to go to our white, which is kind of drying up on me. Now if just the eyes would dry up instead of the paint on the palette here. And I need just a little drop of water so my white flows good to make my little comma in his eye. See, when you make your highlights in your eye, you want them on the same side. So even though it's this left eye, I'm going to do them at 1 o'clock. And the right eye will do at 1 o'clock, or you can do them at 11 o'clock and 11 o'clock, but you wouldn't want them at 1 o'clock in one eye and 11 in the other unless you want them to look cross-eyed. So we'll just put a little comma here with our white inside the black and the blue area, and I need a little more paint. And then you can put a dot up at the top of that with the tip of your brush. And now his other eye is not dry, so we'll just have to let that one sit. And from there we can go to our mushroom. So I believe he's done now. Oh, we got to put some azalea on his cheeks, sorry. And if you wanted his skin a little lighter, you could also, so this is our finished one. I put a little bit of ivory on him, so we'll do that too. Let's see, I need a bigger brush here. So I'm going to go back to my size 3 that had the brown in it, the light brown, and go to my ivory and brush that out on my paper towel and just kind of highlight his little wrinkles and thing a little bit with the ivory on his skin, kind of like the sun is kind of giving him a little kiss of sun-kissed here. Just a real light layer. A little bit on his ears, just to kind of highlight it. And the cheeks. And the nose, and I kind of got a lot there, so I'll have to brush out a little bit more to kind of even it all out. Just lightening him up just a little bit. And his other ear, don't forget that other ear tucked underneath the mushroom there. Both hands. And back to his face a little bit. And then we can grab our azalea, which is OS 559 azalea, and we can blush his little cheeks just a tad. And I'm going to use my same brown ivory brush that I had. Brush it out really, really well because we want to make sure we don't have too much in there. And just get a little light, really light with the azalea on there, not too much at all. Because once you seal it, it kind of strengthens a little bit. So now he's all highlighted and done. I can go back now and do his other eye because that's almost dry enough. So we'll just put his little comma in that eye as well at 1 o'clock. And then put that dot at the top. So that is how he's looking. So we got him done. And from there we can go to our mushroom. So I'm going to dry brush our mushroom. Let's see, Cat Barnyard Red and then Real Red. So we have Real Red and I need Barnyard Red. Yep, and we're going to do the stem and ivory. So we'll start with that first. And I probably want a bigger brush because that's a pretty big area. It's nothing, no detail or anything. So I'm just going to grab my bigger brush here. I have like a size 8. I think it's an 8 flat. Yep. Switch my paint around here. Get some new paper towel. Dip in my ivory and brush it out. Now I can brush across my little fins. I don't think that's what they're called though on the... Can't think of right offhand what them little sections of a mushroom are called. And we'll just work our way around that and get him coated up with ivory, because you can see he's real splotchy now from antiquing him, but we want to get him more even like the other one. And I think Courtney's taking care of messages because I'm doing more painting and talking than looking at your guys' comments. Sorry. Huh? So we're just going to work our way around this guy here. 7:45. Okay, we'll do okay then. And then we want to do our bottom, and that's smooth, so I kind of like to do a big C stroke on those on the bottom where it's smooth. It just kind of blends that paint on there easier, it seems to me. I don't know, other than brushing back and forth. You can brush back and forth. But for me, going with that C stroke, it just seems to kind of put the paint on. Cordy says I am kind of going fast. I want to make sure we get to the box. I can slow down a little, I guess. Oh boy, Cordy says I'm making her motion sick, you guys.
Jenny says that they're spores, maybe? Gills.
Gills? Yeah, they're called. They have a... It's not vents either. I can't... Well, Cordy's going to Google and find out what the little vents underneath the mushroom are called. They have their own little name, but I'm not sure what it is. And I need some more ivory, so our ivory is OS 432. I don't know if I told you that. And you can do your mushrooms in any color. Don't feel like just because I did ivory and red, you have to do ivory and red. Just do whatever you like. And then make sure you get your bottom so your bottom looks good.
They're called gills.
Gills, that's what they are. Okay.
Cap, gills, stalk.
Cap, gills, and stalk. So now we are educated on a mushroom tonight. Does anyone go mushroom picking? Wild mushroom hunting? Something I don't do. I would probably pick the poisonous ones. Probably wouldn't be a good thing to do. I'm just kind of doing nice big C strokes. That kind of just blends that paint right down onto that stem, since it is so smooth and doesn't have a lot of texture. Let's see, I can maybe look at... Oh, Brenda McCoy Lucas goes morals. Okay. Huh?
Moral mushroom thing.
We have a moral mushroom. I have to dig him out of the storage unit. I keep forgetting about him.
Morty's holding moral mushroom.
Yep. I didn't bring them because I figured we showed them a few times already. Let's see, Cordy's... Did you have the truck stuff live yet or not?
It's still kind of a little bit of a work in progress.
Okay. Cordy's working on our Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque.com. For you guys, you can look at the extra Bisque that you can add to your boxes, but it's still...
I'll have it by next Thursday.
She'll have it by next Thursday, she said. Then next Thursday, after we're done with our painting, we'll have an extra little show. That's a Bisque that's left from this past year where it's already wrapped to be shipped. But we're out of some of the supplies to actually ship a whole box, so she's... Like the extras, we order so many, and that's all we have. So we'll be going through a bunch of that stuff. We have a handful of the purple brushes that we can no longer get. So we'll be offering what's left of those.
And a little bit of discontinued pumpkin paint.
And she says she's got a little bit of discontinued Dunkin' paint, so we're going to try to kind of clear those out and make room for other stuff. So that'll be after next Thursday night. After we're done painting at 8:30, we'll do a little kind of a live sale show.
Giveaways and stuff too.
With some giveaways too, she says. So
After party.
she's calling it a little after party. So kind of a 4th of July celebration. I guess we could call it that maybe. How's that? So I'm going back and doing my gills after I do my stem for a little while, just to kind of let that dry, and then I go back to the stem after I get the gills done. So you just kind of keep working back and forth from one area to the other. Again, I'm brushing across these gills. I'm not going up and down with them. If I would do that, I would fill in our antiquing that we did, and I don't want to do that. I want to keep that darker color down in those gills of the mushroom. So now we have the gills dry brush, so we're going to go back to our base. And when you have it really, really wet like that, you have too much paint in your brush, you need to brush it out more, and then I can come back and kind of even that out and brush it out. Again, the stem is kind of smooth, so I'm doing like a C stroke on here. And for me, that kind of just blends that paint right down onto that stem. And I don't want it solid ivory, I just want it a nice, kind of a nice even coverage. I can see some of the color wash coming through under it, but not all of it. Not in big spotty blotches anyway, so it's real spotty. We don't want that. Make sure you go down and get the bottom and the edge of the side here of the bottom. So he's looking pretty good. Just keep working your way around, that way it keeps drying and you're not getting too much wet paint buildup where it would get shiny and then not want to stick for you. So I just keep turning him with my left hand and then keep brushing with my right hand. And then working all the way around, I come back to the gills again. Brush back and forth on those. It's okay that it's going up over the edge because the red will cover that once we get to the red. So that's looking pretty good, so I can put that aside. Now we're going to go to our barnyard red, which is a little bit darker red than the real red. We'll highlight with the real red. So I have barnyard red OS 503. Again, I want to give that a good shake. I do like to use rust under my red usually first, but this time we didn't, which is because we do have the brown under there. The black brown is under there, so that'll help. So let's see, I need another big brush because we have a big area to do, and I'll just go to a round one just for the heck of it. So we have an 8 round now. It's a boar bristle brush, so it's for dry brushing. Flip my paper around here. I'm going to dab into my barnyard red, brush that out, get it nice and dry. And now it's kind of a smooth area, but we do have the little dots on here, and we want to keep that black brown down in those crevices. So wherever your dots are, you do want to kind of brush across them, not really with them. So we'll kind of brush across each one of those. And then I kind of do my little C strokes in the more flatter area, kind of come right down to the edge. And I'll just keep working right around him. So I'm letting this area dry while I keep going to the next area. And you can make your mushrooms any colors you want. Like you could have left him the ivory and gave him red dots or yellow or whatever. It doesn't matter. There's no real rules. It's whatever makes you happy. I'm brushing fairly lightly with the brush. I'm not like bearing down on it and really rubbing it in. I'm just kind of brushing kind of lightly, turning it as I go so I can let this area dry where I just finished and get the next area that's not covered. See, Courtney did some shopping today for the July box, so we can get that ready for you guys to ship. Even though the molds just came this week, we had ordered extra molds because we knew they were going to be delayed, so we should be pretty much on time anyway. Hopefully they clean up fairly easily. They don't look too bad as far as cleaning. And having to put a lot of texture back in, just a little bit. So I do want to come around my edge a little bit. So I had gone all the way around. So now I'm actually going to tip him on his hat or on his cap. And now I'm going to just do little light brushes because I don't want to get my red all the way onto my gills or those fins that are under there. I want to let that get close to that crevice there, but not too close so that I get red all over. Again, this is the barnyard red because it's more of a deeper red. When it goes real shiny like that, it's too much. You got to brush that brush out a little bit. And if you do get red on your ivory, you can go back and touch it up. There's nothing wrong with that. We're just working our way around. Let's see, I'm doing some chipmunk hunting at my house. They seem to have colonized, and I don't want them in the garage.
You had some visitors.
Huh?
Did you have some visitors in the garage?
Yeah, one of them came in the garage when I was in there, so then I got the traps out because that was enough of that. I don't want him in the garage. So.
Only one dead mouse.
Huh?
Only one dead mouse, so we're moving mouse.
Yep. I want chipmunks in there working with me.
Your coworkers.
No, I don't need any coworkers, especially four-legged ones.
You got Brutus.
Brutus is not coming out in the garage. He'll get in trouble.
Okay.
So now I switched back to my top here, to the cap. See, we had a little project fun night last night, working on our August box. So we have a really big surprise coming for that box. We're doing a brand new technique that we haven't done in the 2 years that we've been doing the boxes. It's a non-fired technique with acrylics. You guys, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Plus Mako molds first time.
And Mako molds for the first time as well. We'll be using a gourd. So we're going to be putting a design on it using something that you guys haven't used before. So it's something that we're trying out, and we will have to make what we're using. I don't want to like completely blow the whistle on what it is yet, but it's you guys are going to be really happy about it. I can tell you that much. So it's going to be something new and fun and pretty cool.
Is it dry brushing or no?
Is it dry brushing?
Like, are you dry brush too?
So we'll probably do some marbleizing on the gourd and then use what we're making.
Okay.
You'll be rubbing paint on. It's hard to explain without telling you what it is, and I don't want to tell you what it is until we get past our July box, and then we can tell you what it is. But I can tell you it's something really exciting, and we haven't done it yet, and a lot of people are fairly interested in it. A lot of times it's just done with fired techniques, with underglazes and stroking coats, but we are going to do it with acrylics, so it's pretty cool. I can't wait to do it. I actually made one of the things that we need to make for that box, but I made another one instead. It's for on a snowman, and did it, and it worked out really great. So it's just a matter of timing and when we tell you guys. We don't want to tell you too soon, but yeah, we can't get away all the hints because there's competitors out there. So, but it is a big surprise, and I think you guys are going to be like super happy. I wouldn't be surprised if that box actually sells out. That's how great I think it's going to be. So pretty cool. So I'm just building up our barnyard red on here. I just keep turning them and going around and around, leaving the black brown that's around the dots. I can tell you it has something to do with using a cutout machine that cuts things out.
I just gave it away.
No, I didn't give it away. They're not gonna know. So switch topics, Courtney says. So okay. And then let's see, our September box will be Halloween themed. October box is pumpkins. And they have different textures on them, so I'm not sure what we're gonna do, but
That is the
pumpkins. Remember the pumpkins? The Mako pumpkins? And they have a lot of texture on them, so we can do something with that. So we have our red on here. Our barnyard red is pretty good. I really can't see through it anywheres. So from there, I will go to my real red, which is OS483, to kind of highlight it. So we'll shake that up and get a little bit of that. So the real red is just a little bit brighter red. And we'll get a few layers of that in our brush it out on our paper towel here, kind of work it in there. And now we can just highlight I like to highlight the edge here just a little bit with the real red. Let's see. Rita says it's hard to keep things back when you're excited about it. It really is, because it was so much fun when I actually made the thing last night, and then we tried it and it worked, and it's pretty cool. So can't wait to share it with you guys. It's going to actually open a lot of doors for other projects that we can do down the road, since it worked. So, and non-fired techniques, it's hard to find. You know, it's kind of dry brushing, but we kind of try to throw different things in here and there, like we antique this guy instead of base coating it and then dry brushing it. So we did the color washing instead of base coating. Let's see, we've done the rub-on metallics, we've done chalks. We'll probably retouch the chalks again, but we had less subscribers then, so we'll have to make sure we can secure chalk again before we can do it. So there's just so many supply chain issues though. So we're just highlighting it with our real red here a little bit. It just kind of makes it a little bit brighter. Just going around my dots and around my edge, and so that's looking pretty good. And from there we can go back to our ivory. And I'm gonna go back to my ivory paper. So I just have my size, let's see, this looks like I got red in it. It should be okay though. So I have my size 3 flat. Let's see if we got red or ivory. So we got ivory. A lot of times I like to save a set of brushes that are just for the white and the ivory, because a lot of times you'll still get that hue of color that's in there into your white. So now I'm just doing little brushes, strokes here, kind of little circles, C-strokes around my little dots, and I'll kind of get a nice light layer on it. And then go to the next one, let that dry. I'm not doing big strokes back and forth across it. I want it more solid ivory in the center and then less as it goes out, so we can keep our color wash or our antique color down in that crevice. So just doing little strokes. That's why I have the little size 3 brush. So I just get one layer on there and then go on to the next one. So I just try to always look for different things to do for the boxes. And like even our July box, we haven't done ornaments in the past. So we're doing ornaments. So that's something new too, even though it's they're probably going to be dry brushed. So there's a set of 3 girls and a set of 3 boys. I was thinking we could, because we do have a bunch of new people again, we could maybe break them into 3 sets of 2, base coat 1, and then dry brush it, and then color wash 2, and then dry brush them, and maybe paint them out and then antique them, or even do like a monotone thing with like I did with the blue with the gnomes last year, because everyone really liked that, and it's super easy. So we'll see which the third technique is, but then you could have 3 different sets of 2, because they'd make really nice gifts. They're not small ornaments, they're actually pretty good size. And I do have the greenware to show you guys as soon as we finish this guy here and get our June box opened. So Cordy said, yeah, you could have like 6 gifts out of them, that they're big enough, like a nice teacher's gift or a mailman gift or neighbor gift or Or you could give a set of 2 as a gift because there's 3 girls and 3 boys. So.
Right, keep them all to yourself.
Cordy says you can keep them all to yourself. So I'm just working my way around my little red dots here, doing one, letting it dry, and going to the next one, and I just keep building up our color until we have it as light ivory as you want it. Let's see, tomorrow I'm going to see Michael Harbridge. We're getting paints and molds from him, and then some greenware Christmas trees. We have a couple ladies working on Christmas trees already. So I have to get some more greenware trees from him. And I don't know if anyone watched his Wednesday night show, but he does every other Wednesday he's on doing more of a fired art technique. So you can watch him on Michael Harbridge's personal page on every other Wednesday. Last night he did, he used a lathe to do banding on Christmas ornaments, which was pretty cool too. That's kind of, getting a lathe has kind of been on my little bucket list, so if I get more order, we'll have to see, or I might have to wait, because I think we have a pretty big order with all the molds and paints, and I also got a pyrometer for the kiln so I can monitor its temperature because it's being a little touchy. And then I do have to take my little kiln, a piece of the front with me, because the plunger's not staying in when I push it, and he's going to look at that for me because I don't see what's wrong with it, and I don't see on the manual what piece could be not working. So hopefully we get that bugger fixed tomorrow so I can actually fire at the classroom and stop hauling everything home again to fire it. So I'm just working around and around, getting our ivory on our little dots here, making them look all cute. And you just keep building it up little by little. I like to have it stronger ivory in the center and then less as it goes out. So it's got that nice shading around it. You can do yours as much as you want. So now this guy, he's not, you can see the red is coming through in the center. So my paint is too wet. So I actually need to let that guy dry. So I won't do him for a few times. When that does that, that's what's happening. You got that area too wet. I brushed too much in one area and then it gets wet and it's not taking the paint. So basically you want to let it dry good. Even if it's let it sit for the day and go back the next day and pick up on your dry brushing. So I think because it's so humid, that's kind of what's going on here tonight. So we have a spot in the middle of this one too. But again, it's our humidity going on. So you would just keep building up your ivory till it's where it wants to be. So I'm just going to let these guys, because they're not, the paint's not drying, so it's causing that kind of like a hot spot. But it's not really a hot spot. It's just because it's so damp here tonight. It's not drying in the middle of some of these. If you get it too wet, that's what happens. And the best thing you can do is let that dry for an hour or even the next day and come back and finish it. So I can actually, I'm going to leave them so they can dry. Here is our other guy. So you can see it's got a little ways to go yet. The other thing I would do is come back and touch up if I got any red on my gills. You want to go back and touch that up. And then I did spray these with aerosol sealer. Aerosol sealer, not aerosol, I meant to say satin. Because it's got the sealer on it, that's all. Yeah. So I'm going to let him, because that needs to dry. It's just not drying here with all our humidity tonight. So we got those guys done. Excuse me. So this is your box. It was our June box, our Fungus Among Us. So I hope you guys enjoyed doing them. And we can set that aside. And then I did use the aerosol satin sealer, so it had just a little bit of a shine to it. So I can do a little show and tell here quick. We can open your June box and get my brushes in the water here. Get my head out of the camera. put this paint aside so we don't get paint on everything. Oh, my water's too little. Okay, well, we're popping out. We'll have to just lay them there. Okay, so Courtney's got our June box. She actually has it open. If you have one, because I kind of got paint everywhere now. So this is your box comes. It would be sealed up. It would have tissue paper on the top with a little quote on it. And then inside it, you have your inventory sheet. And then inside that, you have your Bisque pieces. And they're all bubble wrapped really nice. And then they also have the packaging paper in there really nice. Thank you. Goodness. So let me wipe my hands here because I got paint all over. Maybe the paint will seal up my tender finger.
Some liquid nails.
Yeah, I have to get some liquid Band-Aid or something because the bugger's tender. Okay, so in your little inventory package, we have our inventory sheet. It tells you what's in here and what colors we used. And then if the mold company has a flyer, you'll find that inside here. And then any little extras will be inside here as well. So this month, or for June, our extra is this fan brush. And it's a stiff fan brush. So it'll work good for if you put crystal glazes on. But I actually got it to show you guys how to spatter with it. So we'll be spattering with this. I was going to spatter on our turtle and snail. But with the dots, I kind of ended up doing different than what I planned. But we'll still show you how you can use your fan brush, your stiff fan brush for spattering. Then also you have an extra little item in here. It's a dowel. And the dowel is what I used to do a lot of the dots on our pieces. So that's why you have a dowel in your thing, in your little package. Then you have the Mako flyer that has your, Mako, sorry, Clay Magic. We have our Clay Magic flyer that has our snail and our turtle. And they're also over here. And then we had the extra pieces that you could order as well, and they're not painted exactly like the flyer at all, but they are nice bright colors, so I did do nice bright colors, and then we did the dots to do them differently. And then you also have the instructions that we supplied that tell you step by step how they were done. So that is what is in your package. And then you will find that Courtney has them wrapped up all nice and labeled. And we can get in there and show you what you got. These guys will actually go really fast. The dots are not hard, so don't be intimidated by them. So let's see if we can get in there and get them out. And if you don't want to do the acrylics on them, they have been fired to Cone 04 Bisque. Goodness. So if you have access to a kiln, you could use your stroking coats or glazes on them too if you wanted. So here's our turtle. And then here's our snail. Let's get in there. So you can see they're wrapped really well so they don't get broke. So we did have a couple of questions, and this is the snail, about why the hole is in the back, but that is the pour gate hole that's in the mold. And these could have been used as scrubbies, or if they're cut out, you could put tea lights in them also. But we're just using them for like decorations, like in a pot was my thought, because they're just nice and bright and cheery, and planted pots are in right now. And so that is your June box, and what did you call them? Garden Friends. So that is our June box that we'll be starting, and they're actually really easy. So we're going to start out by painting them. Number one, we're going to paint for the turtle. I had to paint the body, but I meant that includes the head, so you would paint the body and the head. We did have a question about that, and then that's in the bright blue, and then his shell is painted with lemon peel. So I will probably do that before next week's class, because then we can get into the dotting right away. And well, we'll do the dry brushing first. The heads are dry brush, so I'll get those base coated because we've done that enough times. But basically, you paint the whole body and head with the bright blue, and then the lemon peel on his shell. The snail you're going to paint with the, let's see, what did we use? We used lime burst on her shell, and then orange peel on the body. So that's where I will start with those guys already base coated next week, so we can get into the dotting part. But the dots are not hard at all, so don't fret over them. And I'll show you step by step how to do those after we do our dry brushing. But that way we can get caught up with our boxes as well. So this is your June box. That's Garden Friends. You can still purchase them on Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque.com if you haven't subscribed or purchased a box yet. We do have some available yet. And then that's everything you get in that box. Then we have our oh my goodness, Christmas in July box, which I don't even think it has a name yet, right?
No.
But it's and they are greenware because I haven't had time to. They were poured yesterday just to be able to show you guys. So this is the girl set. So hopefully you can see that they're still wet, but I was able to bring them. And then this is the boy set. He's got a sleigh, and this boy's got a broom, and this boy has a skis. So I'll put a bottle of paint next to them so you can see that they're not small. They're pretty big. They have holes in the bottom, and they will have a hole in the top. I didn't have time. My hole tool was down in the basement. But those are your ornaments. And then this girl, she's got the packages. This girl has holly leaves. This girl has like a little snowflake. And then they all also have a snowflake on the back of them. And they're all kind of different patterns as well. So that is your July box. So we'll get those painted and cleaned and fired, and then get them painted. And we'll be including the string to hang those with. Are they snow people? They're Donna molds. It's mold 2200 and 2201. So if you want to look at them painted, they're Donna molds 2200 and 2201. So this is the girls. So Courtney's got me showing left and right, up and down. So our molds just came, so that's why we're behind with them. But I'll get them as soon as they're dried. I'll get them fired and painted up, and we'll get the picture. So hopefully you guys like them. Again, they all have snowflakes on the back too, and they'll have a hole in the top for you to hang them. So here's the boys.
And we're starting their brushes.
Huh?
We're starting their brushes.
And now we're also starting your nylon painting brushes. Will be coming in your July through December boxes. So we'll have, let's see, what do we got? We get all 6, yes. You get all 6 snowmen, and well, 3 snowmen and 3 snow women. So these are Donna molds, again, mold 2200 and 2201. And they're ornaments. So hopefully you guys like them, and we'll get them. They are wet yet. You can see they're still a wet gray. But as soon as they're dried, we'll get them clean, fired, and painted for you guys. So that is your July box, all 6 of these guys. And again, they will have a hole in the top that they can be hanging. How much? Janine asked, how much is the box? The box is $49.99, and that includes shipping, tracking, and insurance. So let's see what else we got. That's a lot of Bisque. So yes, the Donna molds are a little bit cheaper than another company out there. So that's how we are able to offer these guys for you guys. So
I'll put the link for the box.
Courtney's going to put the link for where you can.
This box info.
The Bisque box information. Courtney's going to add the link. So I hope you guys like these. It's the first time we did ornaments, and everybody kind of likes snowmen, so we thought that they would be a good thing. They probably would sit. Well, I guess they won't. I thought maybe they'd sit standing up, but they are ornaments, so that's what we're going to make them as. So that is your July box that we're already working on. So you'll probably have extras in there of glitter and snow, and then the ribbon hanger, and then also the wire to put through the bottom to pull your string through to hang them with. So
I put a link to the new Facebook group.
so Courtney says she put a link. It's not popping up on my page yet. Oh, there's the link. And then Courtney did create a new group today for us. It's called the Farmhouse Classroom Facebook group, because we've been posting all the farmhouse stuff kind of in the Bisque box group, and I'm not sure if everyone wants to see that all the time. So if you don't want to see the farmhouse stuff, it'll now be in the Farmhouse Classroom Facebook group. But if you're far away and you still are interested in what we're doing out there, you can still join the group. Like, we're not limiting it to only local people. Anybody can join the Farmhouse Classroom. It's just going to be more geared toward the Farmhouse Classroom, so that when we have classes that are specifically for out there, we're not posting it in the Bisque box group and kind of flooding that with information that really doesn't pertain to someone that can't come to those classes. But again, if you want to join the Farmhouse Classroom and see what we're up to out there, feel free to join. Courtney will let you in. Or do they have to answer any questions to get in, or
Not right now.
not right now? Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So it's just kind of more for local information, but if you guys want to join it, you can join it and follow along what we're doing out there too, because it's kind of fun to see what's going on there too. But I think, what time are we at? 8:30 or not? 8:22. So let's see. I like seeing everything is painting good. Yeah, we like sharing it with everyone too, but we just know that some people don't care for all of it. So yeah, so we can put these guys away, and then we can just start doing a little base coating on our turtle. But that is your July box, and we'll try to get him done as quick as we can. Usually when we get molds from Evans, it's like a 2-week turnaround, but they had a 6 to 8 week turnaround, so it really put things behind for us. So that's why the molds are so, that's why we're behind, but we did get extra molds, so your boxes will still ship on time. So we can go back to our June box. So I guess if you guys like your July box, let us know, and we'll keep trying to make different things. And like I said, August, I'm pretty sure you guys are really going to be surprised with. So we have our turtle, and we're just gonna start, because we got a little time. We're going to paint his body and head with the bright blue. So it's OS 459 bright blue. And again, we did start now. The extra in the box is the nylon paintbrush. Do you have one?
No, I don't think so.
No. Okay. So you'll be getting a nylon painting brush in your box.
I don't know which size yet.
We're not sure which size, but this will be the brush, the nylon. It's a soft grip from Royal and Langnickel. So from July through December, you'll now be getting a paintbrush, nylon painting brush. In the past, you've gotten dry brushes the last 2 years. So this year, we're going to give you guys nylon painting brushes to paint with. So yeah, so it's a nice quality brush. So that's what you can look forward to in your starting in July. So let's see, why can I not give hearts and the thumbs up? Oh, I don't know. Courtney would have to help you with that. Yeah, Facebook's been really weird. We have sometimes we don't get messages until a couple days later. Sometimes I can't switch profile from my personal to my business page. It's really a mess. We can't see, when they updated the business pages, we can't see any older messages that we got. Like, I have a lady that's up in Michigan, and if you're on here listening, just send us a new message. You had messaged that you'd like us to come up and look at your molds and pouring table and thing, but we can't see the message because I don't know what Facebook did, but it's gone, and so I don't remember your name. It seems like it was a Margaret, and you were up in Michigan. So if you're ever watching us, or if someone knows who that is, please have her send us a message, and we'd love to go look at her molds and see what she has and what we can get, and pouring table and whatnot too. So Facebook's been a little bit of a challenge. So on to our turtle. So now we have our bright blue, which is OS 459. When you have a nylon brush, you want to dip it into your water before you start painting. That just kind of conditions it, and then you can pat it. That will keep your paint from getting built up inside your bristles and going up into the ferrule. So now it's conditioned with water, and a lot of times I forget to do that, but that is important to do that. So Janine asked if you can use these brushes to dry brush. No, no. The nylon brushes are for painting. You really don't dry brush with the nylon brushes. You dry brush with the boar bristle brushes, which are the white stiffer bristles. And we do carry those, but we probably have a limited line of those because we've been having trouble getting brushes. But Courtney will be putting in an order next week.
They'll be coming before the box.
They'll come before the box ships, so we will have brushes, and then you can add, if you want to add brushes to your box, you just message Courtney and she'll add those to your invoice, and then they will actually ship for free in your box as long as whatever you get fits in the box. So now I have my brush in my bright blue, and I'm just going to line out and paint my body and head of my turtle, and then you want to brush back and forth so you don't have piles or puddles of your paint. And so I'm just going to line him out right up to his shell, and it's okay if I get a little bit on the shell because I can cover it up with the shell color. So we're just going to paint that out really nice. So like now I have a puddle there where I stopped, so I want to go back and I want to make sure I brush that out because otherwise that puddle is going to be there and we don't want that. So you want to make sure you brush out your paint really nice, because it kind of has a self-leveler in it, and it will take away those brush strokes as it dries. But if you have puddles and ridges, it's not going to take that away. So we're just going to line out around our turtle shell here. You can see he's going to go really quick. And then I actually just paint right over the eyes, and we'll come back and paint those with the eye colors. But I just worked my way around. So Paula says, are you still trying to get the dry brushes with the short handles? Yes, we are. That's really been a challenge too.
Including the liners.
Including the liners that I used tonight that has been back ordered. Hopefully with COVID and things just get better here, but I don't know, because I just seen the other day on the computer that there's a new strain of the COVID virus in China, and to expect lots of delays again. So I don't know. That's why we're trying to get all of our supplies.
Like parts of the brushes come from China.
So certain parts of things, like parts of the brushes come from China and parts come from other areas. So it kind of depends where stuff's coming from and whatnot. So my bottle's plugged up here. We'll get some more bright blue out. And so I just bring it around. So we'll, as soon as we can get brushes, we keep ordering them. Same with the paint, like the ash and the charcoal and the medium blue. They've just been super, super hard to get. So we just keep trying to get them. And eventually we will. They'll be back. So we'll just keep at it. So I usually like to line out my piece first here when I'm painting out like this. You can see I just keep going around him, brushing that out. Make sure you don't have any white spots. Then I come to the bottom, and then I just kind of brush back and forth. Brush it out so it's nice and smooth. And that's what you will do to your snail and your turtle. That's instructions 1 and 2 for both of them, and then we will pick up with 3 next week when we start again. So hopefully you guys enjoyed tonight, finishing up our June box and seeing your July box, and actually starting our June box. And we should be back on track now once we finish this box, so that we're doing our box a week after we ship. We got behind with that stepping stone box because there was a lot of painting on that, and it took a lot of painting to get that done. But these guys are pretty quick, even though there's a lot of dots. It goes pretty darn quick. You can see the base coating here, or painting it out. He's basically done here with his blue. I'm just going to go back now and make sure there aren't any blue or white specks showing in my blue, or that I can see white through my blue. Then you want to add another layer. A lot of times as the paint dries, you end up with little white specks or fleas, I like to call them. So I'm just brushing back and forth to get a nice layer. Make sure you do that bottom. So as he dries, there was a little white flecks or specks or fleas there. So now he's actually painted his blue, and I can wash out my brush. We do have a hold on the dry brush racks because the price of wood has gone up so much, so we do have that on hold. So I'm going to go to my snail now, and I'm going to paint his shell lime burst. SS376, Mako's Softy Acrylic, SS376 lime burst. So once the price of wood comes down a little bit, hopefully we'll be able to get our drying racks back in stock too. So we have our Mako lime burst. And now I'm just going to line out his shell. So you can see this, they're pretty quick little pieces to do, kind of fun little pieces. Of course, one of them had to have blue on it because that's my favorite color. But it's bright blue, so. So let's see, the raccoons have been playing at the classroom, as you guys probably see. They're trashing the flowers left and right. Kind of gave up on the pots of flowers. At least they're not bothering the hanging plants, but kind of gave up on the potted plants. And they've even dug in the mulch pile and hauled the stepping stones away and the butt can away. I don't know what they want with the butt can for cigarette butts. Dumped it out, and every day it's moved. So I actually put that thing away today, and I'm tired of picking it up. It's been like 2 weeks of that. So we're just doing our lime burst on our shell here. Going inside my edge of my hole so it looks nice. So we have a question of what color would the tail be. I did the tail and the bottom the same color as the head. So that is the orange color. But if you wanted to make it another color, you certainly could, because if you look at the Clay Magic flyer, there are lots of colors. But I kind of wanted to do some practicing with you guys with the dots so we can maybe do a mandala project down the road. But I thought that would be a good way to do some dot practicing, because it does take a little bit of practicing to get them like equal size when you're doing a whole bunch of the same size. So that's kind of why we did that. And then I added the swirl, a little swirl look to it. Okay, so now you can see I can still see through. So like he's got one coat on him, but when I look, as this is drying, I can see white through my green, and you don't want that. So I would actually let this dry now and go back to my turtle, and then I'd give it another coat of the lime burst later after that's dried. The stuff's just drying really slow here today.
What do you think those ornament numbers?
2200 and 2201. So now I have my lemon peel, OS434 lemon peel, and I'm going to leave my green brush with the green in it and just go to a new nylon brush, dip it in my water to condition it, tap it out on my paper towel, go to my lemon peel, and when I'm lining something out, I like to hold my hand right on my piece to really steady it. I have this painting hand, or the holding hand, anchored onto the table. I start away from my edge with my yellow and I draw up to it, and that way I can see right where that yellow is going. It's can be harder if you want to like start right on it. you may end up on your blue. So I find if I start away from it, I can see where my yellow is going, and I can get it right where I want it to be. So we're actually having lots of thunder right now. We had a little shower here about an hour ago, and it just made it more humid instead of doing anything. So again, I start away from my edge, and I work towards where my yellow left off, and that way I can see right where that yellow line is, and I'm getting it right in the right spot and not getting it too high up into the blue. And then I want to brush out if I have any little ridges. So that's just how I edge things out. I'm sure other people have other ways, but that's how I do it when I have two colors meeting. I start away from it and then bring my color to it, and that way I can see right where it's getting on it, and it's not getting past where the yellow should be and getting up into the blue too much. So Cordy says we have a question.
What is the stuff that you can spray inside so they can be placed outside?
So we have a question of what can you spray inside so you can use it outside. So there's a couple things you can do. One thing is they could be clear glazed once they're bisqued and refired. So if you have access to a kiln, you could do that before you paint them. And the other option is I like to use the Thompson's water sealer for tile and clay, and I pour it in there, swirl it around so it touches all of the surface, and then pour the excess back out, and then let it dry. That's what we did with your guys' stepping stones. We can do a video showing you how to do that, but you just take the Thompson's water sealer for clay and tile. There's all kinds of Thompson's water sealer. There's for wood, there's for treated wood, there's all kinds of them. So just go to like your hardware store, get a sealer that's for tile and clay, a waterproof sealer for tile and clay. And it's usually a real thin water, milky looking substance, and you just pour it in, swirl it around, and pour the excess back out. And then it takes like 7 to 10 days to kind of cure and dry. And then as far as the outside, you can use a brush-on sealer, or you can use your aerosol sealer, but you want to reseal it every couple of years, and you want to also bring it in for the winter if you're in a freeze-thaw area like we are here in Wisconsin. And your pieces should do just fine then. I was kind of thinking these could be for like house plants in the planters, in the pots. So that was kind of when I picked these out, that's kind of what I was thinking, because house plants are kind of a big trendy thing right now. So again, I'm just lining up my turtle with my bright yellow, kind of right where the shell and the body meet. You don't want to go over onto the body if you have that extra, like it goes down too far. It has the look that it went down too far, and I can actually show maybe on this side. So if I put my yellow and I go down too far, then it's down on the leg. And it won't look like it. It'll look like it's down too far. So you'd want to come back. Let's let that dry. So now that yellow has come down too far. It should really stop. Like it's probably it should come up here further. Like so when your paint goes down too far, or even if the blue came up too far, it has a look that it went too far. You want to get that sweet spot right where the two meet, and that's where you want to stop. So even though now I did that intentionally so you guys can see that, so that this yellow is too far, it's down onto the leg, and it looks like that. So even we can come back over here. So here it looks really, really good. It's in that sweet spot right where the two meet, where the shell and the body meet. But as I'm coming further, here I got down just a little bit from here to here. It's too far down. And you can see it's coming down onto the blue. So I'd actually want to take my blue now. And we can show you. I can come with my blue with this little liner. I start in the blue. drag up to the blue, and I'm going to cover up just that little bit of yellow. And it's not much, it's maybe 2 hairs thick. And now you can see how much nicer that looks without that yellow coming down onto the blue, because it's right in the sweet spot where the shell and the body meet. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. So now you can see like it's down too far here. So I'm going to come back with my blue. So that's one thing when you're lining things out, you really want to pay attention to that the colors aren't up too far or down too far, that they're kind of in that sweet spot where the two areas meet. So like this yellow has come down too far. Even like our blue is up on our tail, like that's too, you can see it's up there too far. It needed to stop down there. But because I have the yellow to go over it, I didn't waste time lining it out. So now we're going to straighten this one out and get into that sweet spot where the blue's not going up onto the shell, but it's just right down where the two meet. And you can see how much nicer that looks if you get it in that sweet spot. So my yellow's not quite dry right there, but when you're lining stuff out, you just want to look where the two like actually meet and not have one overlapping the other one. So here's another good example. My blue is up onto my yellow. So you wouldn't want that blue up onto the shell either. So when I come along with my yellow, and I can start over here. So like from here to here, the blue is up on the shell, and the blue don't need to be up on the shell. But I didn't like worry about that because I knew I was coming back with my yellow to paint over it. So now I'm steadying this hand on my turtle. I got these first 2 fingers anchored on there. I start away from it and I bring my yellow, and I can see right where that sweet spot is, where the two actually meet. So right now I have the blue is up too far, so I want to cover that blue up and bring the yellow down just a tad further. So if I stop, you can see how much, it's maybe 1/8 of an inch or less that blue is up too far, which is fine because I didn't take the time to line it out when I was doing the blue. Excuse me, I had to take a drink. But that will make your pieces look really a lot better if you really pay attention to that and get them right in that sweet spot where the two meet and not have one overlapping the other. So you can see it's only about 1/8 of an inch, but it really makes a big difference when you get it down to where it's supposed to be. So we'll just keep coming right along here. Again, I'm drawing that towards me, brush out that paint, grab a little paint, and start away, work towards that line. I can see right where my yellow's going, and I can meet them right where they need to be met up. So now my blue and yellow it's right in that sweet spot where the two meet, and one's not overlapping the other one. And then the blue is stronger than the yellow, so it's going to come through, so you probably take a couple coats to go back and touch it up, but at least the blue isn't up on the shell where it don't need to be. You can see I'm anchoring these 2 fingers on that piece. I don't normally hold it that high in the air, but I'm trying to give it closer so you guys can see it. Draw that towards me. And now we have a nice edge on there. And then you can go back and just kind of brush the whole shell with the yellow. So now as I'm turning that, I can see my yellow came down a little too far now. So sometimes you have to go back and forth a couple times, touching stuff up. So now this yellow actually came down too far from here to here. So I actually need to go back and touch that up with the blue. So sometimes it's like that. You have to do it. This side looks really good. It's like right where one stop, where they meet each other. But so Courtney says, like the video if you guys liked it. We're gonna cut it out because it's 8:45. I'm gonna finish painting him out with our yellow so he's ready for next week. Hope to see you guys next week. Have a good week. We'll get to dotting next week after we do our dry brushing of our heads and our eyes.
Do they need anything besides their dowel?
Courtney asks if you need anything besides your dowel. If you have ball styluses, you can have those ready for next week. We did send those in one of your boxes, I think, last year. If you don't have the ball styluses, you can use the ends of paintbrushes if you have different size paintbrushes. But otherwise, if you have ball styluses, that would work really well. So I missed his little tail here. I should have actually did his tail with the blue. So I'll have to go back and touch up his tail with blue. That's probably why she asks about the tail. But yeah, his tail should be blue. So I think we'll let you guys go for the night because with thundering is getting louder before we get cut off. But I'm going to finish painting these guys so I know Courtney don't want to. She says that's for sure. So have a good week. We'll look forward to getting your July pictures to you. And
you're at the farmhouse on Saturday.
I'll be at the farmhouse on Saturday. Courtney will be there too. So have a good week, you guys, and we'll catch you next week. Hope you enjoyed tonight. Thank you. Bye.